What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Ask A CISSP podcast. This is a complimentary podcast to the other side of the firewall, where we talk to those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams. I'll be your host. And then this week, we actually have one of those people for an interview style podcast. So conversational is what we'd like to call it, right? We have Kevin Apolinario. There it is. So just so everybody knows, I've tried to say his name 4 or 5 times. It's definitely my fault because I said it right the very first time. I never got it right again. But how are you doing today?
Good, man. I'm good. Can't complain. I hope everyone's having a good Saturday. Yeah, it's good.
No, that's what's up. So Kevin is a cybersecurity IAM technical trainer. He's a speaker, he's an educator, and he has a YouTube channel called Kevtech IT Support. So I'm definitely a fan. I've watched your LinkedIn stuff. I've stayed away from your YouTube stuff because I want to have you on the show. So behind the scenes, we kind of talk about it. I try not to watch too many interviews or content by the person prior to the show, only because I don't want to bias myself. So I can ask those hopefully unique questions. We don't steer too much into what you've already talked about, but I see that you have like over 400 videos, so I'm sure we're going to grade some of that stuff as well, right? But with that being said, what is your cybersecurity origin story, right? Like, where do you come from, and how did you get to where you're at, and kind of what do you want to do in the future? So
Yeah. It's a very good question. So I did I did 12 years of restaurant experience. I have roughly 12 years of restaurant experience. I've been in restaurant for a really long time. I have 4 years in the NYPD. So I did volunteer work for the NYPD. I'm originally from New York. And after that, what happened was I wanted to break into IT, but I didn't know how to get started in IT. So I'm a very huge gamer. I love like my Counter-Strike Source, my Team Fortress, just a bunch of video games that I played back then. And a lot of people that I play video games with, they were military veterans. So I actually play video games with military veterans, and one of them recommended to me the certifications like CompTIA A+, Network Plus, Security Plus. And at that time I didn't know what that was. I'm like, A+, like you mean like your grade, like you're like you getting a grade for like a school or something? Like no, okay, it's a certification. I'm like, oh, okay. So then well, then recommended A+, and I went to a school, and they had the A+ as a curriculum, so you could learn the A+, Network Plus. I went to school and I actually studied the A+, and I got my A+ in that school. And while going into that school, like, because the teacher really liked me, he liked how I learned and everything, he gave me a chance, and he gave me an opportunity to be like a tech nerd in fixing computers. So like I was fixing computers for the school themselves, and I was doing hardware support for that school. Well, even though I didn't have a job or anything, it was just fixing their stuff. And then what happened was he recommended me to a company that was hiring at the time, and the hiring manager came and interviewed me. And the manager was there. He was at the school. I actually came in with a suit and a tie. They interviewed me, and my teacher said, "Yeah, this is a good student. He has potential. He could be someone that you may want to hire." So I'm like, "All right, that's fine. Let's see what happens." So I did the interview. The hiring manager was like, "Why should I hire you if you have no job experience? Like literally, you have no job experience. There's no reason why I should hire you. It makes no sense." And I gave him like I gave him like an answer that's like makes sense. Like, you should hire me because I have personality. So like, you could teach personality, but either have it or don't have it, or you learn it over time. Like my personality is good, like for customer service. I leverage my soft skills. So literally, I told him that I went into a restaurant, and the soft skills I have in restaurant, I could bring that into IT, and that's the reason why you should hire me. And he really liked that answer. He liked the fact that I have soft skills, and he took a chance on me and he hired me. And then I got into IT that way. And that's how I started my first job in IT. And I started as a field technician for the Department of Education. And I moved my way up into IT support, help desk, desktop support. I worked for an MSP, worked for multiple hedge funds, worked for a big hedge fund, a Japanese company, and I moved up the ladder after that. And while being in IT, I started my YouTube channel because I had a YouTube channel. At that time, my YouTube channel didn't exist. I started my YouTube channel because I I was not happy with people giving me information online. So I'm like, you know what? Let me make my own channel and see if I could teach people how to break into IT. So then I thought the idea of making a YouTube channel, and I started that as well while being in IT for the first time in the beginning of my years. And for cybersecurity, because you're telling me like my origin story, like I literally like got into cybersecurity like this year. I didn't do anything special. I didn't do anything crazy. Literally, what I did was I networked. So like I reached out to people. I talked to people that are in cybersecurity. I talked to people that already have a job in cybersecurity, and I joined a lot of social events. When the time came for a job that I saw that I really liked, I literally just networked and I literally just put somebody as a reference. And the job I applied for was for an IM role, and the person from Sign to One, he's like, Kev, you're a nice guy. Like, I really like you. Like, you should put me as a reference. Like, if you ever see a job like that you like you should definitely apply to this job and put me as a reference. I don't mind. Like, put me as a reference. Like, and I literally hanged out with somebody from Sign to One, and I became cool with him. We just I don't know, we just clicked immediately. And he told me to put him as a reference. I literally put him as a reference, and I did my job interview. And I thought I didn't do good at the job until I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna get this job. And then for some reason they called me back, and I don't know why they called me back, but they called me back. And my manager took a chance on me, and yeah, I'm in cybersecurity now. But literally, I got my job because of networking. I didn't do anything special.
No, that's amazing. So there's a lot to unpack there, right? So like you framed it really well. So I didn't want to cut you off. So you said you were law enforcement, you were in restaurants, IT help desk support, worked your way up the rungs, and now you're in cybersecurity, right? And you leverage your soft skills to make that happen. What amazes me is the more I talk to people, I see so many people who've made that pivot, whether it be law enforcement, the restaurant services. I've talked to people in medical, right? Because that one always blows my mind because there's always gonna be sick people. So it's like, what allured you that make you want to leave that to come here? A lot of it's COVID, but aside from that, just people interest, right? So you said that you were playing video games, military veterans. It piqued your interest. Uh, what was that experience like? Like, how was it to transition from what you were currently doing to learning the basics of IT to where you're at now? Like, so was that an easy journey for you? Were you like, okay, this interests me, and therefore it's easy to learn, or was it a big shift?
No, it was a very big shift. I didn't. So last year like I wanted to break into cybersecurity. So last year I asked for help. Like literally, and that's how I grew. That's how I grew my LinkedIn profile. Literally, I because I have a lot of experience in IT support, but I never worked cybersecurity. So what I did was, as someone that has experience in IT support, not cybersecurity, I gave back to the community. So I literally spent the last few months or the last few weeks, I guess, and last year was doing free one-on-one coaching calls, fixing your resume, because people are trying to break into IT support. I spend my whole year helping people for free. And then when the time came for me to break into cybersecurity, I literally asked for help. And because I asked for help, people were willing to help me. And they're like, oh yeah, oh for Kevin? Yeah, I will help you, Kevin, because
Okay.
you helped us and you helped me for free. So literally I asked for help on different platforms in cybersecurity. And some of the people that helped me were some military veterans. I'm like, oh Kev, like, let's go over your career goals. Let's go over what you're trying to do. Let's go over what are you trying to learn. Let's go over like what you should be learning for this for these roles that you're applying for. And literally people took the time, like 2 to 3 hours, up to 4 hours, to go over material with me for cybersecurity. And long and behold, like I was like lost, but then long and behold, I'm like, wait a minute, I already have experience in cybersecurity. This doesn't make any sense. Like I already know I
Right.
have experience in these particular roles that they're asking for. So I'm kind of like I kind of know what I'm doing. It's just I didn't think I knew I was doing that already in cybersecurity. So
Right.
people went over my stuff, and they went over like people that I know in one company called InfoSec Live. Like they went over my resume. They went over what I knew and what I didn't know, and I'm like, I'm already doing some cybersecurity stuff. It's crazy. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then yeah, that got me a little more comfortable, because I was like I was a little more like hesitant to go into security, because I thought I didn't know how to get into security, but reality hit me in the face because of the people that I spoke with, and they told me, yeah, you do know some security. You just got to know how to put it into paper. So
Right, is exactly. So I was
yeah.
going to say, like with your background, not that I'm surprised that you may have felt uncomfortable trying to do the pivot, right? Because they are different animals, right? IT and cybersecurity, um, they are different career paths, but they marry very well. So I was going to say, like I'm biased, right? Like you, my background was mostly IT before I pivoted into cyber. So I was like, I'm already doing a lot of this. Like I get the fundamentals. A lot of what I do on a regular basis helps the security team do what they do, right? When they reinforce it. Um, but from the other side, I see a lot of people who are in cyber who are kind of shy away from talking about IT because they don't feel like they're technical enough. I was like, well, I can see how that is also a thing, right? But you understand enough to be able to talk intelligently. Like you just might not want to deep dive. You don't have any hands-on keyboard type experience, but you kind of understand the fundamentals. So I'm always interested to see how people react to those different wheelhouses, right? Because they're not the same, but again, they pair very well. And I like that you keep bringing up military veterans and how helpful they are. Obviously, I'm biased, right? Retired Air Force veteran. Um, I see a lot of those parallels on the outside where we have a lot of people in the community who go out of their way to help free of charge. It's like, hey, I want to help you better your career, and then this is a networking tool. So I want to go into your content soon, but I want to talk more about your networking, right? I think a lot of people aren't utilizing the networking piece well enough, and you seem to be like flourishing in that space, right? So not only am I asking questions for the audience, but I'm asking questions for myself. So I am part of the audience, right? So I see on your LinkedIn as well as your YouTube, you have over 40,000 connections on LinkedIn, over almost 50,000 connections on or subscribers, I should say, subs on YouTube. How did you get that rolling? So it seems to be that you're very helpful. You like to support people and you're doing it free of charge. Like what spurred you to start dropping the content, and then what helped you to build the fan base?
Yeah, for me it was when I first started my YouTube channel, I didn't have any help, like literally, um and this is gonna sound like really messed up, but like when you go and ask for help, this is my personal experience. It's not like that right now. Like right now it's a lot better, but like a long time ago when you would ask for help, people would not help you at all. Like literally, like Reddit, for example, Reddit is very toxic. Like people will literally not ask you,
Very
not
true.
try to help you. People would literally just ignore you. People literally would say, no, you should do something else. Like that was my experience when I first started my YouTube channel. And when I first started like asking for help, I had like a sink and swim situation where like you learn how to swim. Good luck. Good luck. I wish you the best. That's basically my
Right.
experience when I first started my YouTube channel and when I first started my job in IT. Like literally, that's how it was for me. So then, I got really frustrated. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. I don't care what anyone says. Just see what happens. And I guess like not to sound negative, but like the toxic comments I would get on YouTube was insane. Like when I first started my YouTube channel, like oh yeah, this video sucks, or your accent, your accent is horrible, or you don't know how to teach. And
Mm.
I got some really bad comments, and I didn't give up no matter what. Like, I didn't give up, and that's what my mindset is like that. Like, I don't listen to people. I ignore all the noise around me. Literally, I just ignore people. I just do whatever I want. So that all right, let me just keep making videos, and then years later I got into other YouTube channels. I know who I was. Like I'm talking about like like I started in 2016, going into 2020. I had another YouTube channel that's a really big YouTube channel. He saw my videos, like another YouTube channel called Job Skillshare, and he's like, "You have similar videos to me." And I went into his content, and I'm like, "Oh, wow, we have almost the same videos." And I started collabing with him, and then that really got me like I really like made my channel jump like crazy. Him and a few other YouTube channels. Not just him, like a bunch of other like the bearded IT dad. I collab a lot. So like me, I don't discriminate with YouTube channels. Like I literally love collabing with other YouTube channels. So I started collabing with a lot of YouTube channels in 2020, and that helped me jump my channel because literally people didn't know who I was. Like I went to Job Skillshare, I went to InfoSec Pat, I went to another channel called Bearded IT Dad, I went to another channel called Keep It Techie. I got interviewed by a big channel called The One Life Foot, who has like 50,000 subscribers, and Yeah, so like literally I just collab with YouTube channels, and then people were watching my videos, people were like, who is this Kevin guy? And they saw my videos, and they saw like how I teach, like because I teach in a non-traditional way. And the reason why I teach that way is because I had a bad experience when I went to college. Like I went to school, and I tell, because I'm also a technical trainer, so I tell the students, like, sometimes it's not a bad student, it's a bad teacher. Sometimes you
Mm,
have a teacher that does not know how to teach and does not know how to break it down in a non-tech way, or does not know how to give you information and know how to feed that information to you, which is why you have to understand, like, how do you teach each individual person that they understand the information, because everyone is different. Like some people are hands-on, some people are good with reading books, some people are good with watching a video. Everyone is different. So what happens is when you go and teach something to somebody, you have to make sure they understand the topic and the information, which is why I teach a certain way. And I teach that certain way because I know that at the end of the day, like, some people may or may not understand it. So you have to know how to teach people a specific way, because not everyone learns the same way. And that's the reason why, like, I created my YouTube channel. That's the reason why I teach a certain way. Sometimes I have PowerPoint slides. Sometimes I teach with just doing hands-on and I show you something. So like everyone is completely different in IT and how they learn. So that's what got me started my YouTube channel, and that's really what made me grow, was just collabing with other YouTube content creators. Because at the end of the day, like, and I'm gonna say here, as I said in other channels too, is that if you collab, you both grow together. I don't look at anyone as competition. I don't look at anything as competition. I look at people like trying to help me, and I'm trying to help them. Like, how can we help each other? How can we make each other grow? And that's extremely important to me. Like, I value that more than having someone as competition. That's just how I think. That's my thought process. And I'm friends a lot with other YouTube channels, big and small. Like, we all try to help each other. Just
no,
how I
that's
look at
awesome.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like again, I like what you're saying, because there are a lot of people out there who don't necessarily want to share the shine or the spotlight with other people, and there's plenty of spotlight. That's why I don't get it sometimes. Like there's legitimately enough space for everybody, because like you said, everybody learns differently. Like they might not necessarily pick up what somebody's putting down on one channel, but then if they listen to your channel, similar content, they might actually pick it up and be like, oh, okay, I understand. I can kind of grasp these tools and what have you. So I like that idea of collaboration. Uh, so before we move on to more content stuff, I wanted to kind of put some context around your timeline, right? So you have the law enforcement. You said you were in restaurants for the industry for like 12 years. How long, IT wise, did it take you to get from I'm just starting out and trying to figure this thing out and getting my certifications and education and what have you to where you're at now? How many years have passed?
Man, it's been a while, like probably like 8 years, maybe.
No, that's good. That's good because a lot of people think they could just like jump straight to the pinnacle, right? And I kind of always try to frame it like because you came up through help desk, right? A lot of people are like, "Ah, I don't want to do help desk. I want to jump over to this. And you can skip help desk, but like the skills that you're picking up, like those soft skills that you brought over that helped you, along the way, you've had almost 2 decades of different types of experiences that got you to where you're at. So for somebody who's just coming out of college, they might be like, oh, I just want to jump straight to management. It might be a little bit more difficult than you think, and not to discourage you, but I like when people add context. Like, no, I've done a lot of different things before I got to where I'm at. So I like for that to be shared as well. Like it's not unrealistic for you to necessarily jump straight to the top. Like you could be, out the gate. You could reach great heights. I'm not trying to discourage anybody, but a lot of the people I talk to who have like you a lot of content and a lot of connections and subs is because you have a lot of experience you built up over a long period of time. So 8 years might seem short to someone else, but 8 years might seem like forever to somebody who's just now starting out. Like, oh, I don't want to put that type of time in, but look at how much experience you've gained, right? And you're able to pass that to other people. So I thank you for sharing that because I don't think a lot of people get that piece of IT and cybersecurity. Cybersecurity's been around for like decades, right? But like now it's the hot button. Everybody's like, oh, I want to jump right in that. Like, yeah, you can, but like we've been doing it for some time now. So you might again want to collaborate and learn and ask for help. And I'm glad you said that as well. So IT people have like, at least for me, right? Like again, my bias, I have a hard time asking for help only because like you said, like back in the day, people weren't that helpful. they would they would have beat their head on the wall to figure it out first, And then they want you to also suffer their journey, right? They're like, that's what builds character. Did you Google it? Like before you asked me the question? Like I used to hate that. Like, yeah. So now it's automatic response. Like if I see something I don't know, I'm Googling it. I'm watching videos. I'm trying to learn about it. And then once you get the answer and you go to the person, they're like, why don't you just ask me? I could have saved
Yeah,
you hours
no,
of time.
yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. So like, yeah, like I tell people like, help desk is very like you don't have to start at help desk. I'm telling people right now, and I tell everyone like as always like, help desk is not for everyone. It's not for everyone because I say that because like some people are not good with customer service. So like you're gonna have people that work help desk, they're gonna hate it, like completely hate it because you gotta have like that. And I think you see my background. Like I worked in help desk for like it's not regular help desk. Like I have access to more stuff, and I worked in a financial firm. So
Yeah.
like literally, like I work like top tier, white glove support. Like this better work, or I can't do my job, kind of deal. You know, like in help desk. Like for me with financial folks. So like, the reason why I like help desk for someone that's new is because one, it makes you well rounded. Number two is you get well rounded with fundamentals. Number three is that the fact that you get to work with other departments. So like a lot of people that work help desk typically they have to escalate tickets or they don't have access to it, right? So you're working with the sysadmin, network admin, cybersecurity, right? And then number four for me is like because you have help desk experience, you know how to communicate with a customer, you know how to talk to somebody. So like when you go and transfer over to cybersecurity, people think that cybersecurity is all about hacking and stuff like that. That's not true. Like it's you have to know how to talk to a customer. You have to know how to communicate with a customer. And and a lot of people that I know that I talk about me, like I know people that because I train people and they're too damn technical and they don't know how to break something down in a non-tech way to someone that is trying to understand why you're adding this product like Splunk or 701 or CrowdStrike, and you don't have that soft skills or that way to explain to someone that is non-technical. You don't have those skills, right? So then when if you do work help desk or you do work IT support, you know how to explain that to someone in a non-tech way. They're like, oh, okay, that makes sense, Kevin. Okay, that makes sense. That's the reason why you're using this product. So that's all right. That's why I talk about help desk a lot because like a lot of people come to cybersecurity and they're too damn technical and they don't know how to talk to someone. And then when you're talking with executives and you're talking with C-level folks and you're trying to explain why we're spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on this product and you don't know how to explain that, because the manager is going to be like, or whoever you're talking to, the executive's going to be like, all right, let's just go buy that coffee machine. I don't care what you have
Right.
to say.
Right. I
You know,
understand that.
it's
Yeah.
just it's just how it is. So
Right. No, that's great. Like, so it's the building up of those that experience that you have, and then those soft skills, and then utilizing those to bridge that gap. And I think a lot of people don't also get that once they get to the managerial level, right? They're just like, no, I know what I know. I'm very technical, and I want to stay there, which is fine. However, you can't be frustrated when you're like you said, you're unable to explain to the C-suite like we need this and here is why, and then it's just like word vomit at them. They're just like, I don't get that. Like my degree is in business. I break down the numbers. Like how does this help us make money? How does this help us to solve problems? How does this help us to retain customers? Things of that nature. So no, that's great. That is all really good information. So when it comes to content, because I kept promising we are going to get there, right? So I see you have your LinkedIn content, you have your YouTube content. What spurs you to generate that content? And like what gives you the ideas of what you should be putting out there to people?
yeah, with me is just not really random, but like I don't really have any ideas. Like literally what I do is I literally just take a break from social media. I literally just think about it. Like I will literally go outside and just take a break and not even think about social media. Like my like literally yesterday, I'll give you a real life example. Literally yesterday, I went running, right? I ran yesterday and I left my phone on my desk. And people that I know on YouTube were like, wait, you left your phone on your desk.
Yeah,
Why?
I was like, oh man,
That's
I would
weird.
have
Like,
felt naked.
why?
I'm out there running naked.
And I tell people like, yeah, I sometimes I remove myself from social media. I remove myself from my phone because when I'm running or when I'm doing exercise or when I'm by myself, I think a lot clearer that way. I think a lot better that way. So then the ideas come to me that way, like literally, like it comes from me. My ideas come to me like literally from not being on social media, or literally comes from me from doing something I like for example, like video games or something like I don't know, anything that interests me, like hobbies like that I have, anything that I do that gives me ideas. Either I get ideas from that, or I get people, because I have my own Discord. I get people on Discord that tell me, "Oh yeah, you should make a video on this, or you
Yeah.
should do a video on that, or you should go. Why haven't you covered this yet?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. I'll cover that. I'll cover that real soon." And then out of nowhere, oh, well, Kevin made a video on this. Like, yeah. So like my ideas come from people, but also comes from me like taking a break from technology. So
No, that's awesome. So very similar, right? Maybe that's the key, is to separate yourself. I can't run without some kind of tech on me though. Like, I gotta have that access. It's just I guess I'm chained to the phone, right? Or my watch. Like, I need to be able to have that communication. But my thing is the shower. So like I come up with most of my ideas when I'm in the like, I'm trying not to think about work, right? I'm just trying to relax, trying to wake myself up. I'm getting ready for my day, and then something will come from the back of my mind to the front, like, oh man, I should have did this, or oh man, I should do this next. But then I don't have the ability to write it down. It's something in the shower. So I've lost a few ideas on the way to the office in that manner. But no, that's great. Um, so what do you think causes people to gravitate to your content? Because again, like, you have a pretty big following. Like, I literally did not know how large it was, because we met by happenstance. Like, it was like a connection of a connection, like one of your posts. And I was just like, who is this guy? So I click on it, and you were basically, again, collaboration. You're like, it was either your podcast, your content, or introduce yourself, something to that extent. And I always jump on those. I'm like, hey, this gives me a new audience to introduce myself, right? So I appreciate you for putting this out here. Here's what I do. Here's my podcast, yada, yada, yada. Um, and I was like, you know what? I kind of want to, like, I see this guy has some content. I kind of want to get him on the show. And then I clicked on your bio, and I was like, yo, he has a humongous amount of connections. I was like, he might not want to be on here. So I was like, I'm gonna put it out there and see if he bites. And then you, like you said, you're big in collaboration. So you're like, yeah, I'll come on the show. I was like, wow, okay. Like, yeah, I'd definitely like to have you on. Let's do the podcast, right? So um behind the scenes, I do this first before I have you. Hopefully, I can get you on again, right? If you like this experience, and you like the audience. To the other side of the firewall podcast, where we do the news slash we talk about all things that are not cyber related on the final episode. But this proves if you're crazy or not, right? This is the filter. Like, I get you on this one. It's only an hour of both of our time. If it's not going to work out, I know right now. And then I save us both a week long of content. Like, we record everything one day, but I push it out for an entire week. So I don't want to lose an entire week, because somebody came on and was just like, yo, this dude, he is off the rocker. But no, so far so good. So I say, I'd say, like, thank you for coming on, because again, you do have a lot of stuff going on. You have a lot of content and things of that nature. So it shows that you truly are into collaboration, because like, our audience, although they're the most amazing audience on the planet, don't get me wrong, we just don't have as many of them as you do. So that's pretty cool. So I greatly appreciate that. So we talked about your background. We talked about your experience. We did get some really good insights on how long. I'd say, because like 8 years is not a long time, but I think people don't get it. They're just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna start making 200K off the bat. Like, nah, like, maybe. I'm not gonna say no. But typically, you have to work your way up to understanding tech, understanding cybersecurity, like getting it before you start to get in those positions like yourself, where you have people who will vouch for you, to put you to give you that opportunity to perform, right? So I like to kind of get that out there, because it doesn't matter where you come from. Like, I've talked to people, again, from all different industries that are now in the cybersecurity flourishing, but they brought things with them. They brought those soft skills. They brought that experience with them as well, or they worked their way up the rungs after either completing certifications or finishing a college degree, but they didn't jump straight to, you know, uh, crazy positions, talking to people in C-suite positions and things of that nature. But before we move on to the next thing, I'd ask you a question. So you say New York, you're very broad with it. So I'm also from New York, but I think
oh
our
really?
experience areas are different, right? So I'm from Buffalo. Usually when people
That's
say
funny.
from New York, they're talking about the one of the boroughs. So what part of New York are you from?
I'm originally born and raised in Brooklyn, so
Okay,
I'm originally from Brooklyn. That New York pizza,
got you. I still think I don't know. Like I know our wings are better. I'm gonna put it out there, but I gotta get the pizza to see if the pizza is the same or better, whatever. But typically, you get into it's funny. Like people from the state of New York always have to kind of posture what part of New York they're from. Like I get a lot of flack from being like Buffalo is like when it comes to art and history and our sports and what have you. We're known for that. But if you sound from New York, you're like, oh, you from upstate, or oh, you from South Canada. Like y'all only make up a small part of the state, but I mean, like New York is the center of the universe, so it doesn't really matter, right? At the end of the day.
I mean, like for New York, specifically New York, and I'll be honest with you, like a lot of people are not from New York. It's like super rare. Like some people are not from New York. Literally, they're like from another state or something like that, or
Oh,
from another country,
like New
just
Jersey or
visiting, and
something.
and they tell you, yeah, I'm from New York, and I'm like, where are you from? I'm from London. I'm like, what? You know, you're not from New York, so.
Yeah, it's always funny. I haven't been home in a long time though, so I'm becoming more Floridian, I guess, to say. But I never had an accent, so you can't really tell. But no, I always find it interesting. And like when I was looking through your experience, I saw some of the schools. I was like, oh yeah, he's from here, because I know all these names. So that's real cool. Um, so we talked about, like I said, we built up to where you're currently at. So from where you're currently at, from what you're doing, right? So you're generating content, you're making these connections and networking. Because again, networking is super important. So all those out there who are afraid to network on LinkedIn, like look at Kevin's path, right? Like this LinkedIn helped him to build his network and to grow it. And he has things outside of LinkedIn, but like his LinkedIn fan base is pretty big. So LinkedIn does do a lot for people's careers. Um, what are your future plans? Like, what do you plan on doing now that you're where you're at? Like, do you have anything where you're like, this is on the horizon, or are you kind of just like, hey, I'm just trying to enjoy the space that I'm currently in? Like, what are your future goals and plans?
That's a very good question. So and I'm gonna put a spoiler here because I know people are gonna ask me about this, but I actually I'm waiting for a school to get back to me because I actually applied to be a technical trainer.
Okay.
Um, and the school literally, like, it's a college, and literally they looked at the curriculum. They looked at the Google IT support course,
Mhm.
and they didn't like the curriculum. They didn't like the fact that I didn't teach a bunch of stuff for IT support. And like who we my one of my YouTube channels that I know, I'm friends with another a big YouTube channel, and he recommended me for the school. And
Okay.
who's this Kevin guy? And they're like, oh wow, he teaches IT support. And like, oh yeah, we should hire this guy. So I may be a teacher for a school. I'm not sure yet. We'll see what happens. That's one thing that's going on with me right now. The other thing that's
Okay.
going on with me right now is I am friends with the CEO of Cyber Mentor Dojo, and Cyber Mentor Dojo is a cybersecurity company that does mentoring for free in cybersecurity.
Awesome.
You could volunteer there if you like. The CEO is a military veteran, and I'm working on a course for them. So I'm working on a course for that company. That's number two. Number three is I'm working on a course and I'm always doing courses for different military veteran platforms. The second one is Peter Klein from Boots to Books. I
Okay.
have to make a video for him as well. I've been making videos for them for a while. I want to make a course for them as well. And then like the fourth thing that I'm working on right now is I want to make a course for myself. There's a course that I want to make for IT support. And I want to actually promote that. And the supposedly we'll see if that goes well. If it goes well, I should be able to move my course over to TCM security if it goes well. And then the last but not least is, like, I don't see myself being in IM for a while. Like, I see myself leaving IM at some point, probably going into a manager or a director role in cybersecurity. So yeah, I'm very busy. I also have other things that I'm doing outside of that because you didn't ask me my whole background. Like, I literally do tech training for military veterans. I literally do tech training for people in school. I do tech training for a company called Job Skill Share. I volunteer my time for Raíces Cyber, which is a platform for Latinos, Latinas, and we're partnered with Blacks in cybersecurity, women in cybersecurity. Those are things that I do outside of my 8 to 5 job.
Okay.
I don't have time for anyone else or anything. I just have time to work. That's it, literally. Like, I'm not married or anything, so like I'm very busy. So yeah.
Yes, I mean that's an understatement. Like that's you have a lot going on, and again, it shows your genuine support for collaboration and helping people out, right? Like you have all these things, especially within uh, the military veterans, right? So I'm definitely always down for that. But then you also brought in Blacks in cybersecurity, women in cybersecurity. You have what was the name of the one for Latinos and
Yeah,
Latinas?
yeah. So I'm a chapter director for New York. I work for Raíces Cyber. So
There it is.
we do tech training for free for Latinos, Latinas, because if you do the percentage, like 8%, I think it's 8%. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's 8% that 8% of the population in the United States, they're African American trying to get into IT and cybersecurity or just IT in general. And there's not really a lot African
Right.
Americans in IT, which is really frustrating. And then 5% is Latinos, Latinas trying to get into IT. So
See, I
like
did.
it's really messed up right now. Like
Yeah.
we need more and that's not and the people are gonna not like me for this, but I'm gonna say it. We need more like African Americans. We need more women in IT. We need more veterans. We need more Latinos, Latinas in IT. Like those things
Oh
are
yeah,
missing.
absolutely.
Like it's super rare that you see someone that looks like you in IT, and it actually motivates other people to actually get into IT because if Kevin can do it because he's Hispanic, I could do it too, right? Vice
Right.
versa.
Right.
If you're African American, like, oh, I see this person is African American, he works in tech, I could probably get into IT too. And or if you're a female, same thing. So like, we definitely need more of that awareness. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're preachers to the choir, right? So that's the purpose of the platform. So like we started 3 years ago, and back then it was 7%. It's only 7% of IT and cybersecurity was people of color. Since then, it's grown to 9%, right? You're like, oh wow, 2%. I mean, which is great. I'm glad for that to happen. But over 3 years, we're hoping continue to grow, get bigger and better. We always make the joke like, no, we want it to be 97%, right? We want to flip the the scale. So no one, at least no one listening to my platform should be upset because that's why they come here, right? That's the entire purpose of the platform. So I've been blessed to not have any of the naysayers in that way. But obviously, as we grow, I'm sure some people will show up to the party and be like, oh, I don't like it. Well, you're not invited to the parties. It is what it is. But hopefully, most people who are not people of color come to the platform to be that collaborator, to be that ally, to give a hand up in that respect. So no, definitely, we're seeing eye to eye there. So um, I did not know the Latin stats though, the Latin Hispanic stats. So that's good to find out, and hopefully that also grows as well. Like there are just not enough. There's just not enough diversity in cybersecurity. So that's the the elevator pitch for the podcast whenever I bring it up to people is it's a cybersecurity DE&I podcast. And that usually
Mhm.
sums it up pretty well for people. Like, oh, okay, I get it. So that is the reason for its existence. But I'm glad you brought up all of the things that you're doing because again, it shows your character and hopefully it brings more people to your platform to gather that content. But then it easily lets me pivot. It's like that meme with Wade and LeBron when you throw the ball up to what you were doing outside of cybersecurity. So it sounds like you don't have a lot of time at all. So my thinking would be that when you do need to unwind, it's laser focused, right? So you talked about you run, you talked about you do play games. So what does that look like when you do have time off? What are you doing with that time?
Oh, when I had time off, I'm either and it's still IT related. I'm either mentoring someone or I'm coaching someone. I'm either coaching and mentoring someone, or I'm studying. Like I'm studying like right now I'm doing the Google cybersecurity course. I'm not sure if you've taken it, but
Not yet. No, it's on my list. It's
yeah.
yeah.
So I'm doing that right now. So I've been doing that every week because it's like it's supposed to be 6 months long. So I'm doing it's very long, super long.
Right.
I'm doing that right now, and it's pretty good. Like the Google cybersecurity course is really, really good. Like I'm gonna make a video on it probably, most likely
Okay.
covering like what it teaches and what it does. So like I'm either doing that If not, I'm either running or jogging because I do focus on exercise a lot because I used to be like a size 40 in pants, and then I dropped to like a size 32. I used to be
Oh,
really, really
wow.
fat.
Okay.
So like if you go and look at my old videos, I used to be like really chubby. Like you see my face is like it looks like a volleyball, like it was like a basketball, whatever. It looks like I was like really big. I was a really big guy, and I lost weight. So like I'm just trying to maintain my weight. So literally, like in my hobbies, like I usually exercise, I play video games. Either that, I'm doing a coaching call because I do coaching calls where I go over your resume, I go over your LinkedIn profile, and I fix certain things that you're asking for. Obviously that's not free, but like people do get jobs doing coaching calls with me. Like literally, like someone got a job last week. I fixed his resume, and yeah, he got a job this week. So like, it just goes back to like, if you take the time to fix your resume, you can definitely get a job in IT, and it always goes back to your resume. Like your resume sucks and your resume is horrible, no one's gonna call you. If you have a good resume, then obviously you're gonna get a job in IT. So like I was explaining that to him, and yeah. So either me running, me studying for certification, me exercising, or doing a coaching call, or I spend time with my mom and my dad, my family. So that's basically what I do sometimes.
Okay, no, that's awesome, especially spending the time with your family. But no, again, it shows that even on your off time, it bleeds into supporting and helping others. So uh no, that's awesome. When it does come to, so you said you play like Counter Strike, Go, and things of that nature. Like, is there any, when you find that slither of time, is there any game in particular that you're playing right now?
I'm very old school. I play Counter Strike Source.
Okay.
I still play CS:GO as well, but I play mostly Counter Strike Source. I have 14,000 hours in Counter Strike Source.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I
Mhm.
play that game like crazy. I that game is one of those games that like I guess if I joined the server, people would leave immediately because we would know who I am. Like because I would go like 50 and 10, like 50 and 10 deaths or whatever. Like I would literally like clean. I would literally like if you leave me alive in the like if you leave me alive in the video game, like you're gonna be in trouble. I'm gonna kill probably half your team.
Okay.
Just
All right.
just because I
This
play a lot of
man,
video games. So
man say he is legendary, is what he put out there. That's what's up, man. Um, so to wrap it up, because you're busy out here, right? You're doing a lot of things. I don't want to steal too much of your time. But to wrap it up, I always like to ask the question. So let's switch places, right? Like, this is your podcast, uh, and you're the interviewer. What have I not asked you? What, like, out of all of the times you've been on podcasts and the content you created, what has someone not asked you? You're just like, man, I wish they asked me this question.
for me it would be I actually never been asked I guess I never been asked like how did you know like IT was for you or something
Okay.
like that because that had never been asked like and that's one question. Another question is like why do you help people for free? Like why do you do it for free? Like people would be charging for this stuff. Like people would be like I know people that they charge you an arm and a leg like literally for like
Yeah,
creating
it's a very
content.
lucrative
um
business.
and I don't I do it for free. Like honestly, like for me, like when I so we don't know this, you're probably gonna know right now, but when I first started getting into IT, I I um I spent half my day taking care of my dad because my dad took dialysis. So literally I spent like 5 years with my dad in dialysis, and I had to get his blessing, had to get his approval for me to go into IT. If not, I wouldn't go into IT. Like literally, I was going to the hospital, and going to school at the same time for like my CompTIA A plus, and I was taking care of my dad at the same time. And he told me to get into IT, not like the military veterans. Yeah, like they went over the A plus stuff like with me, but he
Right.
told me you're pretty good with it. I think you should get into tech because when you were a little kid, like you were really curious. Like you like to break stuff, you like to fix stuff. So like you were the type of person that would grab something, throw it on the wall, break it, and then try to build it back or try to fix it. So you're very curious about that stuff. So I think IT would be for you, and like PC repair. That's what because at that time we didn't know IT was like Active Directory, Office
Right.
365, or having some sort of tools that you're using. Like at that time, my dad thought that it was just like PC repair. So he's like, yeah, you could definitely do that, and he was absolutely right. Like I appreciate that from my dad because like um I tell people, I never spoke about this. I tell people that like the hardest thing the hardest thing for everyone in life, the hardest thing you could do is get support from your parents. Like, you got to have the right support. Like, if you're a mom and dad, like, the mom and dads are the true heroes of IT, because and just life in general, the mom and dads are the true heroes, because like they're the ones that bestow their motivation to make you continue to work in something that you probably thought you couldn't do. Like, for me, like, that was my struggle. Like, when I first started IT, like, I got a lot of failures, and I failed a lot when I got my because I did fail my A plus twice in a row, and then I passed my exam. But then when I failed the A plus two times in a row, I'm like, is this for me? Like, can I work IT? Can I do this? Like, I don't feel like I could work IT because I failed two times in a row. Like, am I dumb for this? Like, I can't do this, right? And then my parents were the ones like, no, you definitely could do this. Don't give up. You got this. Don't worry about that failure. It's like riding a bike. You fall a couple of times, but you get up, and eventually you learn how to ride your bike, right? So my parents never gave up on me, no matter how bad it looked for me. And and I had that several times in IT. And I'm not gonna lie to you, like, several times I had that in IT where I failed my A plus, and I'm like, man, I don't think IT's for me. I went to a job interview. I failed 150 job interviews before I got my other job in IT. And my parents were like, yeah, like, failure is part of life. You got to understand that you're going to get a lot of failures in life. And that's something that I teach my students, like, in IT land. Like, I teach them, like, you're gonna fail a lot, but don't embrace don't embrace that. Embrace the rejection, and figure out how to how to get into IT no matter what. Never give up, because at the end of the day, like, you got to get that first job. You got to get that first job to build your stepping stone and build your experience. Once you have that, you should be good to go after that. So, and that's something that I learned. Like, I never been asked about that, but yeah, that's that getting into IT and stuff like that. Like, I tell everyone, like, you're gonna get a lot of failures. Like, you got to embrace failure. Failure is part of life, and no matter what, like, don't give up. Like, I have, like, with my students, I tell everyone, like, if people laugh at me, with my students, I have that David Goggins mentality. Like, you don't know me, son. Like, I have that David Goggins mentality with my students. Like, you got this, guys, you got this. And I try to motivate them, because when you work with students, and you work with people in IT that are trying to get into IT, it's very discouraging when you apply for so many jobs and nobody wants to hire you. It makes you feel like, man, I don't think I should be IT, or I don't think I should work IT, or I don't think people want to hire me. I don't think people want me in their department. It's very discouraging. So when you have a teacher or a mentor or somebody that actually tells you, like, listen, you got this. Don't worry. Keep going. I got you. I'm right behind you. I'm pushing you. Keep going. Don't give up. When you have that person that's behind you and pushing you, that's how it should be. I never had any of that when I first started IT. So that's why I'm grateful to my parents, because they did that to me. They actually gave me that energy or that vibe, if that makes sense.
No, that's an awesome answer. First off, it's a great question. I'm glad you asked yourself that question. But secondly, no, that's an awesome answer, because it's humble, it's honest, and again, it shows your character and where you got it from, right? Well, your parents. Your parents were that motivation. Your parents are the ones who push you through, and it shows that devotion as well, because a lot of people would have quit or would want to quit, and you kept pressing, and now look at you, right? So for anybody who's out there who's doubting themselves, because you will, it happens regardless of what industry you go into, especially this one. Um, there's a lot of imposter syndrome. There's a lot of doubt that goes into trying to become a master of this space. And it shows that you were able to overcome those obstacles and persevere. So I think that definitely will motivate people. Hopefully they stay for the whole conversation, right? Like, again, we're brushed up against 50 minutes, but I mean, that's right. That in itself is a soundbite I need to clip out to put out there as well. Because that definitely goes a long way. Again, showing your character, showing where you came from. And I like the David Goggins reference. Also, Buffalo native, just put it out there, right? We're built different. I'm not built like that guy, though. He's on a different level. But no, but thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate it. And I know this one is going to definitely resonate with audience members. And again, hopefully we can do more collaboration in the future, because you're definitely that guy, right? And I like what you stand for and what you're trying to do in the space, because again, that's what this platform is for, and obviously it meshes well with what you strive to do as well within cybersecurity and information technology. So thank you for your time. If people want to follow you, because they definitely should follow you, where can they? Like, we can put all the links in the bio and all that good stuff, but where can they find you if they want to connect with you?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me here. I appreciate it. Yeah, so for me, you could find me as Kevtech IT Support on YouTube. Same thing, Kevtech IT Support on Twitter. If you want to find me on, because I have my own website, kevtechitsupport.com would be my website. If you want to just email me, it's Kevin at kevtechitsupport.com. So like if you want to email me any inquiries or questions that you may have about certain things, I will reply to you. Like you literally, I'm here with Ryan. I reply to him. So like
Mm.
I will reply to you. So like it's just when I have time, right? Because I'm very busy, but I will reply to you. So you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, my own website. If you want to come, we have a free Discord, by the way. If you want to come to Discord, come to Discord. I have a channel. I have a channel on Discord just for military veterans. I have a channel on Discord just for women in IT. So like, if you want to come to
Awesome.
my Discord, come by. I don't discriminate or anything like that. I just want people to get into IT. It's just my thought process. Yep.
There it is. So if you didn't catch all of that, either on video or audio, it will also be in the bio and the description, right? So definitely continue to tune in, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff that I always forget to say up front, in the middle, and at the end. If you want to hear more content like this, is by the website. It goes by our name. You can hit me up personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. I'm on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, and Twitter. Stay safe, stay secure.